For this video, we're going to review yung mga stock market investments ng GSIS because in recent days, grabe yung news regarding the president of GSIS na si Jose Wick Veloso because of the alleged poor investment decisions daw niya that led to around 8.8 billion in losses ng GSIS. So this is one article talking about yung news na yon. So this one is from Philippine Daily Inquirer. So GSIS executives seek chief's exit over 8.8 billion losses. The state pension president na si Jose Arnulfo Wick Veloso is being asked to resign for the poor investment decisions nga daw. And Mr. Wick Veloso already dismissed yung allegations na to, At sabi niya nga daw baseless and saying he will hold his post until he loses the trust of President Marcos. Because as you all know, GSIS is a government-owned and government-controlled corporation, It handles the insurance and pension of government employees. So this letter was sent, to PGM Veloso nung October 14. So, pinag-uusapan lang naman dito sa letter na to yung pagkadismaya nila dun sa mga risky transactions or mga investments na nagawa ni President and General Manager Wick Veloso, as well as yung mga sinasite nila na examples ng mga investments na yon, which we will cover in a while. So, ito naman yung naging statement or reply ni President Wick Veloso dun sa letter na yon. So, dito niya nga sinasabi na yung allegations daw are baseless because as of August 2025, yung total assets daw ng GSIS umabot na ng 1.92 trillion and yung net income has reached 100 billion. Tapos yung total income stands at 231 billion. So, these results clearly demonstrate that despite market headwinds, GSIS remains financially strong, resilient, and highly profitable. So, basically, sinasabi niya na indirectly, maganda yung performance niya since may net income yung GSIS na 100 billion. And yung 8.8 na losses, parang sinisingle out lang daw ng some of the members of the board ng GSIS and former members as well, So, ito, latest article earlier, President Ferdinand Marcos has yet to decide whether or not Jose Arnulfo Wick Veloso should stay on as president and general manager of the GSIS, Malacanang, said on Monday. So, kung natatandaan nyo, previously, na-suspend nga siya, So, I think yung suspension na yun, 1.5 or maybe 2 months. Tapos, halos kakabalik niya lang ulit. Tapos, pagbalik niya, ito may reklamo na naman. And I think it's because of the risky transactions nga daw I read the post, I read the letter, and meron doon mga issues with regards to investment niya sa stocks at meron doon mga issues with regards sa investment sa private equity. So, since labas naman sa scope ng channel na to yung private equity investments, we'll just focus simply on the stock market side, Kasi yun lang din naman yung may data tayo. Since hindi naman available sa atin yung data specifically nung pinag-investan niya sa mga private companies or private corporations. So, una sa lahat, under his helm, the GSIS was able to invest sa Monday Nissin Corporation. Nakalagay dito, in a single week, from 15 to 20 March 2023, so more than 2 years ago pa, may 4 large transactions that were executed. They were structured as 2 pairs of virtually identical amounts, totaling to about 4.8 billion. So, ibig sabihin, 4 large transactions, so siguro 1.2 billion each, Kaya naging 4.8. Tapos, to date, this investment has already incurred losses of 1.4 billion. So, tingnan natin yung chart ng Monday. So, this is the chart of Monday during that period, yung second week to third week ng March 2023. So, tinanggal ko muna yung itsura ng chart, sa present and recent months. So, focus lang muna tayo kasi tingnan natin in retrospect kung ano yung itsura ng Monday nun. So, kung titingnan natin on the technical analysis side of things, syempre hindi na natin pwedeng ma-unpack yung funda or yung speculation during that time. Medyo matagal na kasi. So, simply gonna focus on the technicals. So, we can clearly see na yung price ng Monday at around 11.10 to probably 11.40. So, dyan kasi naglalaro yung price And nakikita naman natin na nasa strong support level yung Monday during the second to third week ng March, no? So, of course, hindi naman purely technical analysis play yan. Sigurado, nag-check yan ng mga fundamentals, no? Probably considered future projects of Monday. And the thing is, pwedeng yung investment thesis dito is bugbog na kasi yung Monday, no? Tapos, baka magkaroon na siya ng recovery. So, baka hindi nyo alam, no? Yung mga funds talaga, majority of the time, mas preferred niyan bumibili sa ilalim kasi para hindi matulak yung price ng grabe, no? Pag bumibili sila. Kasi sa laki ng volume na pwede nilang gawin, pwede kasing yung price nun matulak pataas ng sobra eh. Kung hindi sila maingat sa pagbili. So, I get it why some of these funds might buy sa ilalim, no? Tapos added conviction pa siguro na para sa kanila, no, sobrang undervalued na yung stock. So, if we're going to look at the possible resistances ng Monday during this time, so parang crucial area kasi, no, itong level na to, yung 12.70 hanggang 13.22. So, meron kasi dyang previous support, may support din dito, tapos may support, and we can clearly see na may resistance dyan. So, it's possible na dyan yung resistance, no? And syempre pag pumapasok yung mga ganitong type ng funds, hindi naman yan basta-basta papasok tapos labas lang, no? Hindi sila sa scalp, hindi yan nag-day trade. And possibly hindi din swing. So most likely yung position yan for the long term, no? Yung talagang aabutin ng iilang buwan or iilang taon. So I think hindi ito yung target niya kasi isipin mo 17% lang yan. So pwede pa siguro na ito, yung 34%, 'di ba? Kasi sa 4.8 billion na pinasok, yung 30% na yan, pwede na mag-return ng more than 1 billion, no? Or even possibly this area. So, meron tayong double top na resistance, no? So, pag tiningnan mo yung upside nito, nasa 40-50%. So, kung nagpasok siya ng 4.8 billion, more than 2 billion yung babalik, no? In a span of a few years. So, hindi na masama, 'di ba? Kahit pa 4 na taon yan, that's more than 10% return, no, every year. So, okay na okay talaga. But unfortunately, if we're going to look at the price of Monday sa ngayon, it's been 2 years and almost 7 months, no? So, 2 taon at kalahati. At ang sabi dito, from the 4.8 na initial investment, nawala na daw ng 1.4 billion. So, if we're going to check kasi kung nasaan na yung price during the month of October up to date, so nearly 38%, no? So, between 36 to 38% yung total loss. So, talagang laki na nung nabawas, no? And at a period that time, yung investment down na ng negative 45%. So, halos kalahati yung nawala, no? Just after a few months. 4 to 5 months after nung investment, nag-negative 45. Tapos, during this period, no, may mga time sana na nakapag-break even or nakalabas na. So, ito nung first week ng April, and then yung second week ng May, and then possibly even during October of last year, no? Pero according dun sa letter, hawak pa. So sa ngayon, down pa yung investment, no? And currently, Monday is in a very large consolidation. So ito nga. So siguro hanggat hindi pa to nagbe-breakout sa 9 na price area, matagal-tagal pa before makapag-break even, no? So, syempre, yung pwedeng source nito na makapagbawas ng losses is the dividends. Pero ilan lang ba yung divs nito? 1.49, 1.09, tapos 1.28, tapos 2.09%. So, parang hindi pa lalagpas ng 10%, no? Yung return sa loob ng 2.5 years na yon. So, mukhang luging-lugi talaga. Pero kung tutuusin mo, ang ganda nung entry or ang ganda nung pasok dito, no? Siguro, it's just that hindi talaga maganda yung market during that time and fundamentally, hindi okay yung Monday, no? Kaya nagkaroon ng bentahan tapos hindi pa siya nagko-close above ng 12 na significantly ever since. So, the next stock, Nickel Asia Corporation. So, merong 2 investment transactions daw na executed between April 12 and April 13. And 2023 din yan. So, 2 years ago. So, ibig sabihin, 2 taon at kalahati na rin halos, no? Yung investment daw na yon is around 1.5 billion and have since incurred aggregate losses of 618.6 million. So, puntahan natin yung chart. So, andito tayo sa chart ng nickel. So, again, in retrospect ulit. So, andito tayo sa April 13. So, 1.5 billion yung napasok, no, around this area. And if we're going to look again sa technicals, no, sobrang simple lang naman. Nakikita natin na currently nasa support yung nickel during that time. Halos pareha sa Monday, no. Yung Monday lang kasi, nasa bottom na talaga siya with strong support. Pero itong nickel, hindi naman talaga siya nasa bottom pero currently at strong support din. So makikita kasi natin na itong 6.30 na levels, no, talagang crucial area siya kasi nagkakaroon ng role reversal for support and resistance. So basically sumalo sa support, no, yung GSIS around this level. And yung possible upside, so merong 22%. So at 22%, pwedeng may 300 plus million, no, na upside for GSIS kung makakabenta sila dyan around that level. Or if it reaches the high during this period, I think 52-week high yan nung time na to, 51%. So, ibig sabihin, close to 700 million, no, yung pwedeng kitain ng GSIS sa area na to. So, mukhang okay naman, no? Kasi buy on support nga, hindi naman sila pwedeng bumili sa taas kasi mahirapan silang makuha lahat ng positions nila, no, during that period. Kasi pag nagbe-breakout, mabilis tumaas yung price ng stock, eh. So, maghahabol sila niyan kung gusto nilang ma-fulfill lahat ng positions nila. Pero ang sabi, 618 na daw yung losses. So, tingnan natin kung nasa na yung price ng nickel ngayon. So, at these levels, hindi pa nakaka-close yung nickel ng 7 ng strongly at may good follow-through, no? Dire-diretso yung pagbaba after. So, we can see na down na yung position ng 40%. So, ayun nga, which explains why meron ng more than 600 million in losses. So, ayun siya, no? At during this period din, nakalabas yung GSIS possibly, no? Sana, dito with minimal losses around the 3rd week of July or pwede din sa 1st week ng October, no? Pero hindi nga nakapag-break even kasi nga pang long term naman yung position, no? So, I'm not really sure kung ano yung rules ng GSIS, no, regarding sa cut loss. Pero ito, break even na sana to, no, kung hindi na gumanda yung position. Pero baka hindi nag-break even or hindi nagbenta kasi nahirapan lumabas, no? Walang gustong bumili or wala masyadong demand at this level. So, sa price ng nickel ngayon, medyo mahirapan tong bumalik ng 650 or 7 levels, no? Kasi may resistance sa 4.25, may resistance sa 4.55, tapos may resistance near the 5 area kung saan may previous conso, tapos may resistance ulit sa 551, tapos saka pa lang pwedeng makapunta ng 650 levels, no? So, malayo-layo pa for the break-even. So, the third one, Bloomberry Resorts Corporation. So, on a single day, a 1.45 billion investment was split into two separate transactions. So, I guess more than 700 million per transaction pero isang araw lang. And this investment has since collapsed in value, incurring losses of 901.9 million. So, close to 902 million, no? So, walang sinabing araw dito. Pero, since sinabi na may incurring losses of around 901.9, so, syempre, guesstimate lang tayo dyan, no? Pwedeng around 60% loss. And since most of the investments were around 2023, so, simple lang, no? Kailangan lang naman nating i-plot yung 60% na price range around 2023 para malaman natin kung anong price pumasok yung GSIS sa Bloom. So, andito na tayo sa chart ng Bloom and simple lang, ito yung prices around October and yan yung price range. So, ilalagay lang natin sa around 60%. So, ibig sabihin, pumasok around 9.30 levels, no? So, kung babasihan natin yung 2023 na bilihan, kasi binili niya yun around March tapos April, no? Yung Monday tapos nickel. So, sa Bloom naman, pwedeng dito, March 2023, no, pasok pa rin sa basis nung 60% loss. Pwede din siguro nung June 2023. And of course, pwede din ng October 2023. So, wala kasing nilagay na date eh. Pero looking at the strategy so far, mukhang dito nga napabili, no, sa March or sa June. And the reason for that is because may crucial support area sa levels na to. Kasi previous resistance yan ng Bloom eh. Yung ito, yung around 9. So, pwedeng pag in-extend mo, kita mo na sumalo around these levels, no? So, kung titingnan mo naman yung galaw dito, para sa akin parang valid naman. Kasi, looking back in retrospect, ito yung consolidation eh. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng bumili ng position dito, no? During the breakout, pwedeng during the pullback, or during the double bottom or probably the triple bottom. So, siguro nag-e-expect na ito na yung reversal ng stock, no? Since ang tagal na nung consolidation niya, kung isipin mo, December 2020 hanggang 2023. So, lagpas 2 years, no, na consolidation. And 2023 parang nagsisimula ng mag-open ulit sa mga tourists, no, sa mga foreigners yung Metro Manila. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng pumapalo na yung income ng Bloom with regards sa gambling space nila, no, sa casino. So, looking back in terms of funda tapos technicals, parang okay naman yung pasok dito sa Bloom. So, at a certain period, no, sa levels na to, nag-increase naman yung investment ng 28%. So, ibig sabihin, pumalo pala ng nearly 400 million, no, yung paper gains ng GSIS during this time. And nagko-consolidate pa naman siya. Kaso lang, nagkaroon ng breakdown nung second week ng July, no, hanggang third week ng July. Tapos, never nang nakabawi yung stock sa levels na yon. So, sayang. So, ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina Siyempre, pumapasok yung mga funds na yan, hindi naman para sa swing trade or day trade. So, para sa atin ng mga retailers, no, sa mga private funds, of course, dapat nakapag-lock in ka na ng profits dito kasi ang kapal na ng resistance. So, nakita mo nang nag-double top tapos bumababa na yung price. So, pwedeng lock in ka na ng profits somewhere here. Tapos, kung hindi ka man nakapag-lock in ng profits dyan, no, the second time na tinapik niya yan, pwedeng magbenta ka na. So, hindi nagawa ng GSIS yun. Siyempre, ang target niyan mas mataas, no? Kasi kung titingnan mo yung mga potential na pupuntahan ng Bloom, pwedeng dito pa, no, sa 40%, pwedeng sa 58%, pwedeng 68%, pwedeng 79 to 80% kasi ayun yung mga resistances niya, no? So, more on position trade talaga yung ginawa. Kaya hindi nakapagbenta siguro. So, ang ending, naipit, no? At these levels. So, ayun lang, wala lang talagang cut loss, no? Kasi nga, position trade, tapos baka inaasahan yung dividends, no? And hindi rin nabigyan ng chance na mag-break even to kasi hindi naman bumalik yung price ng 9.30 during that period. So, the fourth one, which I think is yung pinaka-controversial, yung investment sa DigiPlus. And kaya naging controversial kasi syempre, a few weeks or months ago, mainit talaga yung plus kasi nga online gambling, di ba? Ang nangyari naman dito, sinasabi ng mga lawmakers na questionable daw, no? Bakit yung pera ng mga government employees ini-invest sa mga online gambling, no? So, yung DigiPlus, nagkaroon ng investment doon na 1.2 billion, tapos na-execute yun sa 2 transactions on June 13 and 16. So, already lost nearly 750 million. So, puntahan natin yung chart. So, ito yung chart ng Plus, no? In retrospect lang ulit, kung titingnan naman talaga natin yung chart ng Plus, hindi mo naman pwedeng masabi na pangit siya na stock. So, if we're going to look at the prices here, sa early 2025, start of the year, it already increased by more than 130%. So, most definitely, maganda yung galaw ng technicals, maganda yung funda. So, out of all the stock investments so far, parang ito yung pinaka-bullish, no, or pinaka-maganda yung galaw. Kasi yung iba, more on buy sa support area, tapos yung Bloom naman pwedeng buy on the breakout or buy on the pullback, no? Pero itong Plus parang aggressive talaga yung pagka-buy. So, of course, you already know what happened here. After a few days, naglabas na mga articles, no, during June 24 onwards na nagiging issue na nga daw yung online gambling kasi affected na yung mga bata, no? Marami nang nalululong na mga young adults. Tapos, marami pang illegal gambling sites. Tapos, easily na malilink siya sa mga electronic wallets, no, gaya ng GCash. So, pati yung Globe nadamay, no, nabawasan sila ng revenue dahil doon. So, of course, yung price talaga ng Plus bumaba kasi magiging affected yung revenue nila, no. So, around this area, tapos at the levels of October 16, 17, or 18, yan, down na ng negative 63% yung stock. Very unfortunate lang na ang ganda ng stock pero nagkaroon ng bentahan. So, I think the issue here is, para sa akin, hindi naman talaga siya questionable investment kasi maganda naman talaga yung galaw ng Plus, no, during this period. Siguro yung comment ko lang, ang laki ng allocation, tapos mataas na yung galaw ng stock. Kasi nakita ko naman sa Bloom na bumibili sa breakout or bumibili sa pullback So, ito parang consolidation sa highs, tapos ang laki ng position, di ba? If we're going to look sa galaw ng Plus, ever since the start of 2023, so assuming lang na nag-decide sila mag-invest sa stocks around 2023, so makikita nyo dito na may consolidation yung Plus, no? So basically, halos same na move ng ginawa ng Bloom, di ba? So ito, May 2023, nag-breakout siya sa consolidation niya na halos 1 year. Nag-breakout dyan. Tapos nagkaroon ng pullback dito. Tapos dito din. So kung titingnan nyo, parang parehas na parehas dun sa investing idea sa Bloom, no? So ito siya, no, nag-breakout sa conso tapos nagkaroon ng pullback twice. So balikan natin yung plus. So ayun yung nangyari, no? Nagka-breakout tapos pullback twice. So kung iisipin, in hindsight, no, nagkamali lang ng gambling stock na binili. Kasi kung napasok yung allocation sa plus, yung investment sa plus, sobrang bawing-bawi na, no? So yung ininvest sa Bloom, 1.4 billion, yung sa plus, 1.2. So tingnan natin, no, kung yung plus na pasok dyan. So halimbawa, andito sa levels na to, nag-increase ng nearly 2,000% yung investment, no? Kung dito napasok at the highs, no? Hindi kasama yung mga dividends dyan, ha? Pinag-uusapan lang natin yung capital returns. So at the current levels, kahit pa nagkaroon ng bentahan, so nasa 567%, no? So ibig sabihin nag times 5 or more than, kasi nga 567%, so nearly 600%, no? So nearly times 6. So ibig sabihin yung 1.2 billion na investment pwedeng ang nangyari umabot na ng 5 to 6 billion, no? So sayang. And during this period, sobrang daming times na meron siyang malaking consolidation na para sa akin kinaya sigurong i-accommodate yung size, no? So may mga malalaking consolidation dito. So kung nakapasok around these levels, yun, break even. Pero kung nakapag-lock in ng profits, no, sa pagtaas niya, pwedeng kumita pa talaga. So sayang lang, no, because yung same strategy na ginawa sa Bloom, kung nagawa sana sa plus, sobrang laki sana nung gains, no. Pwedeng erase lahat nung losses dun sa mga previous stocks na napag-usapan natin. So ito naman yung sa Alter Energy, I think hindi to mismo sa Alter Energy na stock, no. So ang nangyari dito, nakabili sila ng preferred shares. So ang sabi dito, yung Commission on Audit daw found that the investment was made in violation of the GSIS charter as the company lacked the required 3-year track record of profitability and dividend payments. So ibig sabihin pala, before mag-invest sa stocks, kailangan yung investa ng GSIS, dapat may 3 years ng record na profitable sila tapos nagbibigay ng dividends, no? So na-flag siya kasi yung minimum market capitalization, dapat may nasusunod pala yon pag ang pinurchase is yung non-traded stocks. So basically, dapat may minimum market cap yung preferred shares, no? Pero parang na-bypass ata. So yun yung irregularities daw. Kaya nasuspend sila, no? Dahil sa investment na yun, no? And I think along with the plus investment as well kasi grabe yung binaba eh. So the investment violated yung internal policies ng GSIS and lacked the necessary approvals from key oversight committees and the board. So, siguro may mga na-bypass na mga tao na diretso agad yung investment, no? So, ito yan, Ombudsman suspends GSIS president over 1.4 billion share deal with Alter Energy nung around July, no? And lastly, meron dito sa FCG. So, napag-usapan na mag-invest ata ng 456 million pero failed yung process kasi ang market capitalization dapat 15 billion eh. So, hindi pa 15 billion yung market cap ng FCG. Tapos yung proposed amount pala is 50 times the maximum allowable exposure of 8.5 million. So 8.5 lang pala dapat yung pwedeng invest, no, based sa minimum market cap, pero nag times 50 umabot ng 450 plus. So I think may nabasa akong article na hindi naman natuloy yung investment na to sa FCG, no, kasi nakita nga na hindi talaga sakto dun sa rules ng policy guidelines ng GSIS mismo. Pero tingnan natin yung parehas na chart ng Alter Energy tapos yung FCG, no? So, nag-IPO yung Alter Energy around March 2023. So, hindi dito bumili yung GSIS kasi preferred shares nila yung binayaran eh. So, basically, ang habol nila dividends. Pero, problema nga, yung Alter Energy parang hindi pa to 3 years, no? Kung mapapansin nyo. Ngayong 2026 pa lang na March magti 3 years. So, parang hindi pa siya pasok sa guidelines ng GSIS kaya dapat iniwasan daw pero natuloy pa rin yung pagbili. So, one of the reasons why na-suspend, no, along with the plus investment siguro. Tapos sa FCG naman, so yung FCG, yung IPO niya around 2022 pa, tapos 2025 na ngayon. So, lagpas 3 years naman. So, that's why siguro posible na siyang ma-investan, and as you can see, may mga dividends naman na binibigay. So, pasok naman dun sa no? Kailangan 3 years na daw nagbibigay ng dividends. Ang problema lang, masyadong mataas yung exposure. Dapat sa mga third liner or fourth liners, hindi daw lalagpas ng 8.5, pero gustong pasukan ng 450 million, no? So, ang tanong, kailan yun? yung period na yon. Kasi kung during naman sa period na to, na nagkaroon naman ng breakout, parang ito din yung pinakita kong trade idea sa Bloom tapos plus, no? So, parang viable naman yung strategy around this area sa technicals, no? Kaso lang, ayun, bumaba yung stock, no? So, buti na lang hindi natuloy yung deal kasi down sana yun ng 30%. Ibig sabihin, losses na naman yun na more than 100 million, no? So, buti na lang, hindi natuloy. So, ano sa tingin nyo yung ginawang mga trade plans or mga trade ideas ni Mr. Vic Veloso? So, what do you think about yung mga investments nila sa stocks? So, do you think valid yung mga trade ideas na yon? So, you can share your thoughts sa comment section kung may nakikita kayong hindi maganda dun sa trade idea na yon. So, it's interesting to see kung ano yung mangyayari in the coming days or weeks. Kung magkakaroon ba ng further investigation, kung may mga ibang stocks pa ba na binili or may mga iba pa bang private businesses or corporations na pinag-investan, no? So, if you want to be a member of this channel and to have exclusive access sa mga videos ko where I share my trades and mga stocks that I'm monitoring to buy, you can click towards the left. Or if you want to watch my other videos regarding trading psychology, trading management, you can click the link towards the right. So, ayun lang and thank you for watching this video.